Testing. Testing. 1, 2.
Hello?
We're on. Good evening. Welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of November 16th, 2020. And keeping with Governor Baker's demands on COVID, we're having a Zoom meeting tonight. So it being 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to open it. And do we have any public comments? Judy, are you in?
I'm in.
Rich?
Oop, can't hear him.
You're on mute.
I'm here.
Okay, good. There you go. Good. We don't have our... We got a couple of minutes.
Want to talk about the thing you got to sign?
What thing?
Do we have enough people to sign this?
No, they're going to have to come in, actually, tomorrow. I didn't even think of that, actually.
What's that? Oh, the
Deed?
the
River
deeds.
Ridge deed.
What, just signed?
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll meet somebody in the parking lot.
Yeah, and I can come in to sign.
But for your information.
No, pass it that away.
I think you need to vote to accept it first.
Here, in between the banks of Lakeview Pond and that cart path. So onto our proposed work, we're proposing a pool and pool area located at the rear of the home here. So that area will consist of a pool deck, a pool, the pool house, fire pit terrace, and the retaining walls, as well as the associated grading. So for the most part, majority of this work is taking place out of the 100-foot buffer zone. For the work that's taking place within the 100-foot buffer zone, it will include the construction of this fire pit terrace and this retaining wall along the back of it, as well as the associated grading with this that will go down to about here. And then the work will take place at most 66 feet from the bank, which will be the grading. And then the closest structure to the pond will be about 85 feet, and will be this retaining wall right here. So in all, it's going to be about 1,900 square feet of disturbed buffer zone. But for this whole area has already been disturbed, as it's already lawn. And we're also proposing the removal of 3 trees. So you can see those here, here, and here. So the homeowner has had those inspected by Tree Tech, and Tree Tech has recommended that they be removed, whether it's due to them being completely dead or they're leaning towards the home, causing an issue. So our erosion control for this project will consist of the existing stone wall located on the north side of the property, which you can see right here. So I don't believe any erosion will be able to get around that wall, seeing as it's been existing. And then per the site walk that you guys had out there last week, I've also included in the packet that I gave you guys the planting plan. And I think that's about it. So I'd like to open it up for any questions or comments from you guys.
Okay, I don't know. All of the plants, are they agreeable to you, Jane?
They're agreeable.
Okay. I know Jane and I were out there. Did anybody else get a chance to get out, look at it?
I did not.
Okay. Judy?
No.
No. Rich?
No.
Okay.
No, didn't get out there, all.
Okay. Any comments, Jane?
No, most of the work is there's not a lot, let me put it this way, there's not a lot of work in the 100-foot buffer zone. There's a big stone wall separating the natural versus the area that they have already altered. And they're going to be planting mostly native plants. There are a couple that are probably not purely native plants, but it's in an area that's already lawn, I see. I don't see any issues.
So I guess that was gonna be my question. So where there's a cart path here, I mean, is it lots of already disturbed area toward the river, I mean, toward the shore already?
No, basically, it's kind of a funky site. I think he owns all of the land to the water, right?
Yes.
He has there's a conservation easement across his property, basically, so that people can walk across his property in the path that's on his property. So, and nothing has been touched on the other side of the path to speak of that I could see anyways, and hopefully it will stay that way. And his property is across from the Lakeview Pavilion, and the work is really just going to be in areas that are already disturbed.
Okay.
It shouldn't be consequential, really.
Okay, any other comments? Judy, Rich?
Yeah, I just, when I look at the map, it looks like maybe one of the trees might be damaged, could damage the house if it fell, the closest one, but the other two look too far away. What's going on with these trees?
They're dead.
Yep.
One is dead and one is diseased, I think.
What? Okay. One is dead, one's dead. There were three of them.
Right, and one is overhanging the house.
Okay, so the lower ones are dead and diseased, and then the upper one is hanging over the house. Okay.
And it's actually a double trunked one tree, and only one of there's a younger trunk and an older trunk. It's a sugar maple, and the older trunk is what is proposed to be cut. So the other one will remain.
Okay.
Correct? Is that true?
Yep,
That's
and
what-
we're also gonna leave the stumps.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Let's jump on all three of them?
Yes.
Okay. Good. If nothing else, somebody want to make a motion?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
With pipes going, there's granite bricks. I assume that's all going to be cleaned up and removed. That's what it looked like on the plan anyways.
Yep, yeah, so I showed the existing granite bricks there, so all that will be removed.
Anything else?
Nope.
Someone want to make a motion? Not everybody speak at once.
Move that we grant a negative determination for 49 Lakeview Road.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
A second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
None? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Now, Andrea Coates is going to be coming?
No,
Andrea Coates will be online?
no, she said Mike Clements is coming online.
Oh,
They work for the state. They're not allowed.
what's that?
The state people are still working remotely.
That's true, yeah. I do not see them, that's why I was asking.
This is Mike Clements. I am here.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
I don't know why my video is not up, but I can't forget. Oh, there it might be. That might be it. There I am.
Okay.
Hit the wrong button.
Judy and Rich, you have to come in when you sign the deed, sign the determination too, please.
Yep, I'll come in.
Okay.
I'll talk with Jane tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm not going to be in tomorrow, I'm out on vacation all week, except for
Okay,
today.
so I don't want to come in the building. Can somebody come out?
If you call me up, I guess I'll be here till 4 tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, I'll call you and maybe you could just bring everything out to me in the parking lot.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 7:10. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, the Foxborough Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public meeting on Monday, November 16th, 2020, at 7:10 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, on a request for determination of applicability filed by Andrea Coates, Mass DOT, for vegetation management activities along Route 1 and Route I-95 northbound and southbound in Foxborough within 100 feet of a wetland resource area.
Good evening, folks. My name is Mike Clements. I'm with the Mass DOT District 5 office. I am the Assistant Environmental Engineer for the district. Andrea is the Environmental Engineer. I am representing Andrea tonight. To get going here, the purpose of this project is to spray herbicides on I-95 and Route 1 within the town of Foxborough to control vegetation along the roadways, along guardrail, along center median, where we have concrete median to knock back the vegetation that is growing. We've received complaints, and we like to try to take care of it with herbicides. And the reason we're using herbicides is it's twofold. Number one, there will be a labor cost or a labor safety and labor cost involved with getting out there with mechanical means and using weed whackers and whatnot to knock the weeds back. Is far more cost effective and far safer for us to use herbicides. With that being said, the vegetation management plan that we use is primarily consists of 94% mowing.
Can you get a little bit closer to your mic, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
As I said, the vegetation management program that we currently employ utilizes mechanical mowing for 94%, herbicides 1%, and 5% other methods. Excuse me. As I just said, the herbicides we feel is a safe and cost-effective way for us to do locations where we can't get mowers in, or and we'd have to employ workers. Last we've used the herbicide. We haven't used the herbicide program in a few years now. I believe probably last time was in 2012, and we intend to utilize it this coming spring if we're granted the opportunity to do so. The work is regulated under two separate regulations. One, the Wetlands Protection Act, and that's the reason why we're here tonight. And number two is the Department of Agricultural Resources Regulation, which is 333 CMR 11. That controls the application of herbicides, and you have to have what they call a vegetation management plan, which is reviewed and approved by them, and it's good for 5 years. And then every year that you intend to spray, you have to provide them with a yearly operational plan. Now, both the vegetation management plan and the yearly operation plan are subject to public review. Your local selectmen, your board, and the Board of Health should be receiving a notification when our plan has been submitted to Agricultural Resources, and you can comment on the plan and make any recommendations or express any concerns that you may have at that point. The reason why we're here is to satisfy the DEP regulations, which says we must basically have a negative termination or in place for the areas that we intend to spray or not spray. Now, the Department of Agricultural Resources regulations allow for basically a setback of 10 feet from rivers and major water bodies. We employ a setback of 100 feet. It's a little bit more restrictive. We think we're a little bit safer in that, more protective of the environment in that, using that threshold. Now, as I said, the vegetation management plan and the operational plan are submitted to the Department of Agricultural Resources, and they are reviewed, and the towns are notified, and they can submit comments as they wish. Once the plan is approved, both the yearly operational plan, provided the vegetation management plan is approved initially, and we have the 5-year approval, we will be following up with a yearly operational plan. That yearly operational plan also, once it's submitted, has a 10-day notice that we have to provide before we can spray to the in your town. Now, we are using herbicides. This is really the point of program here that we're here tonight. The herbicides that we use have been approved by the Department of Agricultural Resources and DEP. The list is on the DAR website. They're very common herbicides. There's Oust, there's Roundup, there's Accord Plus, I believe it's called. These herbicides have been around for a long time and are effective. And once they've been applied and they're dried, they are considered inert. They don't really contribute any environmental damage after they've been dried. After the herbicides have been applied and it is dried. Now, there are 2 types of method that we will employ. The most popular one that we'll use, the most use we will have is called a foliar treatment, but we also use the cut stump method. The cut stump method is used for trees that have been taken down, and you apply the herbicide to the stump to kill the remaining stump, so that you don't have any shoots coming up after the tree's been cut down. The herbicide itself, the way it employs it is absorbed through the leaves, and it goes through the stem down into the roots, and it basically kills the plant at the root system. The herbicides are applied via a truck. We're using a low pressure nozzle that's under pressure less than 60 psi. The swath that it typically employs is a swath that is 2 to 2.5 feet wide, and we basically just ride the truck up the edge of along the guardrail or along the concrete median, and to kill the vegetation, to apply the herbicide to kill the vegetation as it goes along. The herbicide is not applied when there's a threat of rain, when it is raining, or a threat of rain, or there's a wind advisory or winds greater than 20 miles per hour. Again, no spray is applied, like I said, with no threat of rain or any rain or threat of rain coming in the forecast. If I could, I'd take a couple moments to review the RDA package that we submitted to you. It contains a couple of items. First off is the scope of work, which basically goes through what I just threw about the application of the herbicides, the herbicides that we intend to use. We cannot specify an herbicide to be used. It has to be. We have to. We specify that we're using herbicides, and the contractor has to propose an herbicide that is on the DAR list. So we can't. I can't. If the commission was to say, oh, we only want you to use X herbicide, that would create a havoc for us because it's not allowable under the regulation. We have to let the contractor choose, and we have to approve that chemical. Again, like I said, what we use the foliar treatment method to spray the vegetation along the guardrail and along the center median, and how we separate areas where we're supposed to spray, where we're not supposed to spray. We apply along the guardrail and center median basically a plastic flag that is green for spray, red for no spray, and brown for alternate year spraying is what we use. And going on the package for Route 1, we look at the locus map. The locus map begins on Route 1, a little south of Route 140, and continues up to the Norwood Canton Town line. That's the entire length that we're spraying. And again, the locus map shows the entire length we're spraying on I-95 as well. Now, going to the specific spray, no spray maps that we employ. Starting with Route 1, going from Rentham into Foxborough, we're spraying. That's at mile marker 14. We're spraying, from the Rentham town line to mile marker 14, past Pine Street. On the next page, page 2 of 12, from mile marker 15, from 14 to 15. There are a couple of no spray areas. There's a stream at approximately mile marker 14.2. There's a wetland around 14.5 on the going northbound that we wouldn't be spraying. Within that area is also a zone 2, so that is alternate year spraying, where we'd only be spraying every other year. So if we sprayed, in the spring of 2020, we would not spray. In the spring of 2021, we would spray again in the spring of 2023. Going up and then to from mile marker 15 to 16, there's a couple of streams there that we would not be spraying. We have a 100-foot setback on all of those, and 100-foot setback. There's a pond close to mile marker 15.9 where we won't be spraying. There's a brook that connects the two areas that where we won't be spraying as well. And then on sheet 4, up from mile marker 16 to 17 is just a small section in Foxborough before we go into Walpole, where there's a wetland approximately at mile marker 16 that we would not be spraying.
We're losing you again.
As a series of tunes that we might be playing. We have a setback within that.
I can't hear anything.
I can't either. We're losing you, but you're into the Walpole area. I think. Oops. We lost him.
Yeah, he's still talking.
Completely dead.
Yeah. Who's the other person that's on? Is it Carol? Is that her name?
No,
Andrea?
Andrea.
Andrew wasn't coming. He's the only one.
Well, there's a woman there too. I think she's on it.
Yeah. Jeff, yeah. Rich, Judy, you can hear me, can't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. I can't hear him at all, though.
No, I can't hear him either. So, but he was talking to Walpole last that I knew, so. Now,
Who's the other person?
Who's the other person?
She's the South Street lady.
Oh, okay.
You do?
There's a bunch of people on Zoom that have their cameras and microphones off that are just for other appointments.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's saying, can you hear me? Say no.
We cannot hear you, no.
Looks like he's on mute.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, if he's on mute, can he hear us, or?
Yeah, he should be able to hear you.
Should be able to, yeah. I can hear you when I go on mute.
We lost you.
He's going to try to call in.
I guess he's going to try to call, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have they sprayed with us before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Jane, do you have any problems with this? Or have you?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't.
Okay. Can we move ahead? Should we discuss it while he's,
I wonder if you could hear us.
He should be able to.
can you hear us? Evidently not.
No.
He's talking about the 95, I-95 work.
Yeah, and,
John.
yeah, but he was up into Walpole on the last thing that he mentioned.
Yeah, there's a small section in Foxborough right at the Walpole line.
Yeah.
He's calling in on his iPhone. It just, I think that's him.
Okay.
Hello?
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Can you hear me? I'm using my cell phone now. I don't know what's going on my computer. But can you hear me all right now?
Yep, we can hear you now. Yep.
How far do you want me to continue to go through those maps, or you get the general gist of where we're going with this?
No, I think we're pretty much set. I don't know.
Okay.
Does anybody on the commission have any questions?
I just have one question. How do you determine the days in terms of weather when you go out?
Well, we look at the weather forecast for that day, and depending on whether there's the rain forecast, then we don't go out. I mean, we're looking at probably the National Weather Service, the NOAA website, and figuring it out from there. They use
Okay, my only question is, when do you plan to start? Will this be something in the spring, or are you going to do it this fall?
I believe they would like to start in the spring, probably, I would imagine, in the May-June timeframe.
Okay.
But we do have, provided everything is in order, and I've been before Sharon, a couple of weeks ago, and Andrew's been before a couple of towns already as well. But, provided we get all the paperwork in order, and we get the BMP and the yearly operational plan in order, that is our goal, to plan to spray in the May-June timeframe when the leaves are just starting to come out, which from what we're told is the best time to spray.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Rich, you happy?
Yes.
Okay. If no other questions, somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve proposed vegetation management activities on Route 1 and Route 95 northbound.
And southbound, I think.
And southbound, yeah.
Yep. So are you referring to negative determination?
Negative determination, sorry.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? You have a negative determination, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for technical difficulties.
Yeah,
I'll have to figure out.
that's the reason why I hate this.
I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I know.
Being 7:15, we have a notice of intent. Okay, just got the small. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act of Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, November 16th, 2020, at 7:15 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, on a notice of intent filed by Florence Ennis for the construction of a single-family home, driveway, lawn area, and associated grading on South Street parcels north of number 473, Assessor's Map 180, parcels 25 and 26. Portions of the proposed work lie within 100 feet of a resource area. Who's coming in? Mr. Lucas?
Good evening.
Good evening. Are you getting much sleep these nights or days?
As of the last 2 weeks, yes. Yeah, he's almost 2 months now, so I'm I'm getting some sleep again.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. For the record, my name is Chris Lucas, professional wetland scientist and registered professional soil scientist with Lucas Environmental. I'm here tonight with John Spink, the PE for the project, as well as David Innes on behalf of Florence Innes for the applicant. We're here in front of you tonight for a proposed single-family home on a constrained lot. I think we've cited the project well. There's no associated. We're on South Street. It's map 180, parcels 25 and 26. And with the commission's permission, may I share my screen to pull up a plan for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. It says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
I think he's working on it.
Go again.
Okay, there we go. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Excellent. So the site is bounded to the east by South Street, to the north by C Street, to the west by the Wading River, and the south is number 463 South Street. We have a DP file number 1570601 for the project. DP had no comments in their letter. There are two parcels associated with this project. This is the separation for two. There's a small parcel to the north, 0.25 acres in size, and then the subject property is 1.08, which is down along here. I'll go through all the resource areas in a moment. There's the ownership history on this site's a little convoluted. Mr. provided a summary in Appendix B outlining the ownership. It appears that there's various information. MassGIS has no data on the ID. The Foxborough assessor's maps actually shows two parcels with the line roughly through the center here, roughly equally sized, both identified as Florence Innes' property. According to the deed and some survey information, it appears that there are two parcels, parcel J and parcel K, which would be this one. Miss Innes owns this one. It appears she owns this one, but it's a little convoluted. Part of this project is Miss Innes is willing to donate all her rights and title on this parcel to the town of Foxborough, whether that be the Conservation Commission or another board, to allow access. Based on my site visits, this looks like a pretty popular fishing spot for folks in town. So, in speaking with David and Miss Innes, they agreed to donate their rights and title. It's a little convoluted. It does appear she has rights to it, but that's not the subject of this NOI directly. It is included. It was included in the butter notification. It's included in the WPA form. But we just wanted to note that Appendix B has a lot more information. We're happy to answer any questions you have on it. The resource areas on the site. The site is located in a surface water protection zone A and outstanding resource water associated with the Wading River Watershed Public Water Supply. It's located in a Mass DEP Zone 2 wellhead protection area. It is not located in an EPA sole source aquifer. It is not located in rare species habitat, and there are no vernal pools on the site. I delineated this site in October the 30th of 2018, so roughly 2 years ago. We've been back out since to conduct a wildlife habitat evaluation, and everything doesn't look like anything's changed significantly since that time. The resource areas that we identified include inland bank. So there's a bank series 1, which runs along roughly here, along the Wading River. That was delineated based on the mean annual high water line, which under the Wetland Protection Act is the mean annual high water or the break and slope, whichever is lower. So we differentiated that would be the state jurisdictional bank line. Per your bylaw, bank is regulated as the higher of the two, which there was there's a gap between those two, and we have an inland bank delineated in this portion of the site per your bylaw because there was a separation between mean high water and the break and slope. So we have the higher of the two shown here for your bylaw. We also delineated a large bordering vegetated wetland shown in green, this WAF series here. So this is the wetland area here, and stops right around here where it just becomes a steep bank. This is also classified as freshwater wetland under your bylaw. There's no proposed work inland bank or BVW or freshwater wetland on the site. We've avoided all those areas. Obviously, land under water bodies and waterways exists within the river. We're not working there. There is a flood zone associated with the property and a regulatory floodway. The regulatory floodway is associated with the river. The floodplain is at elevation 155.6. Which if you have your plans is roughly right around this elevation here. It's labeled flood and continues right through here. All our work is outside of the floodplain as well. The challenge on this site has been the riverfront area. As you can see, we have a 100-foot offset here, as 200-foot offset here. So the entire site's in the riverfront. We also have the 100-foot buffer zone shown on the property, which is in blue here, which this should probably actually connect this way, the bank there. Regardless, we know we're in jurisdictional areas. And we also have the 25-foot no activity zone from the outermost resource area, which is on here, and the bylaw bank along this portion of the property. The only work occurring in the 25-foot zone is a restoration. We're not proposing any permanent work in there other than restoration. I'm not sure if the commission's familiar with this lot, but it appears this whole lot was filled decades ago, well before the Wetlands Protection Act and regulations came into effect. It's all old debris and fill and junk material, and it's brick and concrete and things like that in here. A lot of the site's loaded with briars and invasive species, so it's not a high quality site. Like I said, we conducted a wildlife habitat evaluation to assess the impacts for the whole project for your bylaw. Under the state, we're not required to do so. So overall, next page. So what we're proposing, is a single family house with the access driveway, proposing a small house. And this is not meant to be a McMansion. We know we're constrained on this lot, so we weren't coming in asking for the world. And, we came in with a moderate-sized house, approximately 1,685 square feet, and that includes the garage. So this is in line with what's on this street. I'm not proposing this as a oversized house on a small lot. Small deck to the back, a paved drive here. We have the water line and sewer are in the street, so we don't need a septic. So they'll be proposed under the driveway, as well as gas running adjacent to it. A small little back out area just so there's room for turnaround from the garage to get safely onto South Street. The applicant is proposing roof runoff to be directed to an infiltration basin, leaching field in the backyard. It's going to be 10 feet from the foundation with our limit of work. The limit of work is the 25-foot no disturb zone for the project footprint, which will become lawn, is proposed lawn upon completion of the project. The leaching field is proposed to be 10 by 20 by 10 feet deep stone filled bays, roughly a foot below grade. downspouts will be routed to the leaching field and will be at ground level to flow down gradient away from the home. We can get more into detail on that if there's questions. The driveway is approximately 1,300 square feet, so in total, we're proposing 3,000 square feet of new impervious on the site. As part of the mitigation, because of old junk and material and this whole site, the proposal is to remove the material in the 25-foot no alteration zone as restoration, which is roughly 6,300 square feet. And then that is proposed to be restored with natural soils and loamed. And then we have a detailed mitigation plan with trees, shrubs, seed mix to propose in this area to restore it. Completion of the project, this area will not be touched. It'll be allowed to grow back naturally with the mitigation plan, and it will no longer be used for the owners. If the commission needs some kind of permanent protection on that, that can be done, but that's the proposal and part of the mitigation for the work here. Under 310 CMR 10.58, performance standards for riverfront, we do meet the standards number 4 for A through C. D is the one where we partially comply to the extent practicable, which is allowable under 310 CMR 10.58 for D number 3. And basically that allows construction of a single family home if we, where we're constrained due to the lot, which we are here, under certain conditions. One, the lot can be developed for such purposes under the other applicable provisions of the town and state law, which we meet. And number 2, the other standards are met to the extent practicable or feasible. The only 2 we can't meet, obviously, we can't stay outside the inner riparian on the site because of the constraints. There's just no room to site a house in here due to the setbacks. It's just not feasible. And also, we're just over 10%. Quite a bit. We're over 10% on the impacts. The riverfront area impacts proposed are around 14,000 square feet, roughly a third of an acre. There's an additional 6,300 square feet proposed for mitigation in addition to that. So roughly, if you combine the two, we're roughly around 30% of alteration of the riverfront. So those are the 2 areas we don't comply, but it is permittable under Performance Standard D3 under the Rivers Act. And we believe we meet the requirements of this exemption because it does consist of a single family house and driveway, which is included in there. It was recorded in February 12th of 1959, so well before 1996. We're constrained by the lot for the alteration of the 10% and the minimum 100-foot setback. The lot can't be developed under the other local rules. We are meeting all the other performance standards except for those 2 mentioned. And the extent of the yard around the house is limited to the area for construction. We did look at 2 alternatives, which are included. One of them is in conceptual form, which was sheet number 5. This was one of the alternatives. We looked at reducing the size of the house, but we have a fairly small house compared to other homes in Foxborough. The other was reducing the footprint of the lawn, trying to pull it into the smallest reasonable size due to the construction and use of the lot. We were able to reduce it by another 1,000 square feet. However, it creates a little bit more constrained yard, and we felt that 1,000 square feet with all the restoration and title passing to the lot to the north of the town, we felt was a fair trade for some consideration from the commission for the preferred alternative in lieu of a smaller lawn area. This is just a grading plan. The lot's pretty flat now. We're going to maintain that. There'll be some minor grading around the house when the work's done from the existing conditions. And that's it in a short summary. John, David, and I are here to answer any questions you may have and hopefully address them satisfactorily tonight.
I guess the first question I have, I was out there. I was not prepared for the briars. As you said, they're very, very aggressive out there.
They are.
A concern that I have, and looking at the topography, it appears that there's a lot of, as you mentioned, fill and all. Have you done any test borings to see if you can get some firm foundation for the house to begin with? One of my first fears would be that you put a foundation in, and in a year or 2 it's going to sink.
I will defer to John on that one. John, I don't know if you've done any test pits out here.
Yeah, now that I found the mute button. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Can't see you, but okay.
It looks like from the bank and the surrounding area that the rubble is not more than a couple of, maybe even 3 feet deep. And the foundations are going to go down 6 feet or so anyway. So, and it's a bit of a
puffing up his chest.
very, very proud. I think a gravel area left over from the glacier type of land situation. So in any case, I can always make a footing big enough to solve that problem. We can put any kind of a foundation under there to solve that, no matter even if it was a very poor soil. So I don't see that as being a problem, except for maybe costing Mr. Ryan some money.
Okay. Jane, were you, any comments? I'll start with you first.
Well, I have a lot of comments. It's hard to see what the topographic lines are, and normally we get one that has current and a proposed. The basement elevation needs to be shown. It needs to be above the floodplain, I believe. The NOI states it's in an ACEC. It is not. And then this isn't just lot 19. It looks like a lot of it is lot 18 that's referred to over and over in the information. In the deed research portions. I'm against restoring the 25-foot no activity zone because that just cleans out everything that's there, and it's not, a lot of it is disturbed obviously, but I think it sets a bad precedent for the commission. I think a much smaller house and yard should be used. And 310 Seymour 1058 4D3B says performance standards have to be met to the maximum extent feasible. In difficult siting situations, the maximum extent of yards around houses should be limited to the area necessary for construction. And although the River Protection Act says it's one house is allowable, it doesn't need to be a large house, so it should be even smaller, I think. And I didn't see any details about the dry well. You mentioned something about leaching field. I'm assuming that means dry well because this is going to have sewer. And you mentioned a detailed mitigation plan, but I don't see one. And I've spent the better part of the day looking at this, and there's an awful lot of information contained in it, and it's all spread all over the place, so it's hard to follow. That's it for now.
Chris.
Mr. Chair, may I respond? May I respond to a few of those?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
What are the dimensions on the house? I mean, it shows, but I don't have a scale with me, so I'm not sure.
John, what are the house footprint itself is 1,685 square feet. I think that's a fairly small house in Foxborough. We're trying to keep this reasonable, and that includes the garage. John, what are the dimensions on the house?
John, you're on mute.
John?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I don't have the drawing up so I can pull up the dimensions on it, but if I remember right, it's a 26 by like 42 house.
How many bedrooms? How many bedrooms?
I believe it was a 3.
So, we're not looking to be ostentatious here with a giant 3,500 square foot footprint home. We were trying to come in with a modest one because we know this is a constrained lot. We're trying to be reasonable with the size of the home. This is similarly sized to other homes on the street. But, you know, some of the other items, we can add the basement elevations to the plan. That's not an issue. We do show that area, Jane, is pretty flat. So we do show the existing contours on the sheet 1.
They're really hard. It's really hard to see. It's not as flat as I had anticipated.
We can take a closer look and adjust the plan if you need something. You know, there's a lot of overlap due to the resource areas here. So it's convoluted, but we wanted to be able to show the plan in reference to that, which is why we've presented it with some color. But, you know, if we can talk to John and see what we can do to try to clean up the contours, if that helps. The dry well, we can add that to, it's actually an infiltration field that's being proposed, not a dry well. It's described in the NOI. We'll make sure we add that to the plans. That won't be an issue. We can add that. The detailed mitigation plan is included in the specifications are included in the NOI. We have the description of all the features and everything we're going to add in there.
On what page? It's kind of, I had to bounce all over the place to try and figure out what was going on. Nothing is really clear and concise and in any kind of easy order to read.
I'm surprised to hear that. I thought, you know, we've got the narrative, which is pretty well outlined here, that describes.
Page 14.
The mitigation area is on page 14.
14 is riverfront area restoration.
Riverfront area restoration, section 6 on page 14.
Okay.
So we had an introduction and existing conditions, then we described all the resource areas on the site, then we described the proposed work, and then we had a regulatory compliance section and the mitigation section, which is on page 14, and that describes specifically we are proposing removing all the debris, which I would like to ask Jane why you're against restoration and how that would set a precedent. You know, we don't need to do the work in the 25 foot. We just thought removing all of that fill material, removing all the invasives would create a better feature, better habitat on the site overall. Obviously, if Mr. Ines doesn't need to do that, and that's what the commission wants, we don't need to. There's a cost associated with it. We thought it was a good mitigation option for consideration for doing this work. We do feel that we meet the requirements, but we went above and beyond with the mitigation. I'm a little surprised to hear that you would consider that something not worthy of doing in a case like this. But so be it. If you don't want to, I'm sure Mr. Ines would like to save some money here and not do it. But propose a shrub and tree planting. We have a seed mix specified. We have 20 trees proposed, consisting of red maple, ash, oak, cherry, box elder. We have 80 shrubs proposed throughout the area. We use the numbers for this based on what you would normally do for wetland replication using the DEP guidelines. We just applied it to, we use the same numbers we would if this were wetland, but we proposed it to the riverfront. And then in ground cover, we were proposing the New England Conservation Wildlife seed mix to grow in there. And then also propose some snags, brush piles, logs, and woody debris, because that sometimes sets up a nice coral feature for wildlife and other things to start utilizing again before all the vegetation grows in. And then we proposed a monitoring program and a small invasive management plan is included in the NOI. If you'd like, we can just mark up one of the sheet plans to show or hatch out the area. That would be simple enough, and then just refer to the specs in the NOI. If you want something more, we're happy to provide it for you if you need something, but I would ask you to take a look at that in detail and see if there's anything more specific you want there. We can add the dimensions of the house to the plan, Mr. Bodie. That won't be a problem. And, you know, at this point, you know, I guess I just like to hear more from the commission on the size of the house. Like I said, we've tried to keep this small. 1,600 square foot house with a garage. It's not a big footprint, especially in this town.
Well, I have a problem with the size of the house too, because you're in a constrained lot. I mean, why should you have a house that's similar to other houses in the neighborhood when you're on a very, very constrained lot? I mean, I people would be building 2-bedroom houses. Just because there's 3-bedroom houses and a lot of McMansions in Foxborough doesn't mean there isn't a need for smaller houses. And you're in a constrained lot. So, and you know, all your work is being done in the riverfront area. You're exceeding the riverfront guidelines by a lot. My other question is, why do you meet the zoning regulations for this lot? I mean, I'm confused because I thought this lot was 2 lots and you have combined them into 1. Do you meet the regulations?
All right, so to clarify, I'll let Mr. Spink answer the zoning requirement. So the town assessor information, and I can pull this up. There's
The assessor information isn't really very accurate until recently that they had it owner unknown, as you're aware.
Right, so this is the current assessor information from the town of Foxborough, but this shows the 2 parcels. Here, this is 1 parcel. We've included both of these in our application. However, the parcels, these are actually what the deeds show. So Ms. Ines definitively owns this one, and it appears she has rights or full ownership in this one. This is the parcel here that we're looking to convey any title and rights she owns to the town of Foxborough, so the town members can continue to use this for access to the Wading River.
Okay, so you're now calling this Lot K or something?
No, the lot, parcel K and J were the information from the survey and the deed. That's how they were referred to.
Okay, and that's how you determined what the lot looks like now is through the and the deed language?
Correct. But we used a reference from the town to include both of these in the NOI. So for the purposes of the site, it would be these 2 lots, but we're only proposing development on this one.
Okay, so does the 47,200 square feet include both those lots then?
No, it includes this one.
Just that one, okay.
Correct. This lot itself is 1.08 acres in size total, and this one is 0.25.
Okay.
Confusing because there's a lot of...
It was very confusing because in the NOI, it was the lots were referred to by different names, and each of them had all different acreages. It was very confusing.
I can double check. We went through and thought we verified all the acreages, this 0.25 and the 1.08.
Well, you had in the NOI on a note, you had the 2 parcels. One was map 180 parcel 4476. That was 32,800. Then you had parcel 4477. That was 24,750. Okay. Then you went into the actual write-up, and you had 2 different parcels, which I guess you're showing here, which is 1.08 acres, and the other is 0.25 acres. So you had, reference to 2 different lots, and they were called different things. And then this was called something different too.
I guess I'm not following where the confusion's coming in. Maybe, if there's a specific, we can discuss now. I'd like to know where the confusion is, so if we can. Well,
there was a lot of, going through the history of the lots. I didn't know which it actually was. Now you've confirmed this by going out and surveying it according to the deed. So is this now what's going to be represented as the lot in everything, in the public record and everything else?
Well, this, according to the deed, this is the lot. The assessor's information isn't accurate. So when we present a plan to you, we should be following what's in the deed. That's what we're obligated to do, and that's the notifications, the deed for the form.
Okay.
There's a lot of, these parcels have been referred to many different things. We tried to summarize it. Appendix B includes the different designations of the parcels based on the different documents that were reviewed by Mr. Spink. If there's an error in the NOI, I can go back through it. If there's something you feel that we didn't explain correctly, I'm happy to go take a second look at it. It is convoluted because the assessor shows the lot line coming through here. That's not correct. It's through here.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to know which one was the correct one. So you're saying this one is?
Our site plans, the 6 sheets that we included in Appendix A are the project plans, and those are the correct parcel information. Appendix B was meant to show the commission ownership and how this lot is a little muddled on the rights. You know, there's some indication that the town of Foxborough owns it. There's other survey data, indeed, that show Miss Ines owns it.
Okay. All right.
How can you
All right,
donate?
the other, I'm wondering why do you have to have the driveway so long? It's more impervious area.
This is the town zoning law setbacks.
The town zoning law setbacks say, so the driveway.
It's 30 feet. It's 30 feet. And you'll notice that the roadway is quite a ways into the right of way of the, that's why you get a long driveway.
So here's the parcel line. So this is part of the street, and then we have to go 30 feet in, correct, John?
Yep.
Can you speak to the rest of the zoning? I know Ms. Johnson asked previously, I think we diverted from that. You had asked if this complies with the zoning. Do you want to discuss some of that, some of the other setbacks and things that help lay out the lot?
This all complies with the setback, with the zoning setbacks.
Okay, so what are they?
The side, I believe, was 15. It's on one of the drawings. The front is the 30, and the back is, I think it was another 30.
Okay, so the side, it looks like it's more than 15. It looks like it's more like, it looks like it's over 30 from the side.
It was tucked into the corner of the setbacks.
We can add those back to the plan, John. I think they might have gone iterations when we were cleaning this up for the commission. We can, Ms. Johnson, we can add those back on to show you.
Yeah, I'd like to see all the zoning on it and, you know, that you comply with the town zoning.
The house is 50 feet.
And
And it's almost 40 feet.
I guess I'd like to walk the site. I mean, I haven't seen the wetland boundaries or anything.
1 to 40. G goes 40.
Okay.
And I'd like to take a look at the 25-foot no disturb out there and see what's going on. And again, I'd stress that the house be smaller and the yard be very tiny. Anything else? Let me see. So what are the implications of having this be in an outstanding waters, the Wading River?
That would play into 2 factors. 1, if we were filling wetlands, which we're not. And 2, if we had to meet the stormwater management standards, which this not being a subdivision of 4 homes or more would not be applicable. However, the applicant has provided an infiltration system in the back to infiltrate the roof runoff, which is above and beyond what is required.
Okay. All right, I guess I'm done.
Jane, did he provide a larger plan, bigger?
Not that I saw.
Can you provide a larger plan that shows all that topo and the different resource areas so that we can actually see it?
Current and proposed?
We can't. This is at scale at 11 by 17. You want a larger sheet?
Yeah, what normally comes in are the bigger ones.
One large sheet plan is what is required usually.
This is not a problem.
That way there we can read this information that you've provided in detail.
Right. As Mr. Spink said, we can do that.
So that'd be for what's currently out there and what's proposed, that'd be good enough. Right, Jane?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I was just looking at this, and it's the driveway is 82 feet long, and you say 30 is the requirement plus the distance of the street that's owned by the town? Why? So, I mean, it's 82 feet rather than 30 plus what? maybe 10 there. And then the side yard is 50 feet. There's a lot of things that aren't computing here.
Okay.
We'll take a look, John. We can take a look at that.
Yeah, it says 82.1. See the red line?
I think everything needs to be pushed closer to the street because it looks like that's where a lot of the old native soils probably are. I mean, the house next door is at that level. And the house next door, I'm told, has had a lot of foundation problems because of the area probably filling in the past and being right next to the river.
We can look at the setbacks and take a closer look at that, and if the revisions.
I mean, if you want us to move the house up forward, I don't think that's a terrible big problem, as long as we stay out of the zoning.
Yeah, that's what we're asking, basically. You know, to alter, it's been altered in the past, obviously, but this is all riverfront area, and the more you can keep out of the 100-foot, the better.
Correct.
So we can definitely look at that. Is the commission open to us, though? If we do that to the north there, we're going to end up in the 25-foot no activity zone. Is that something the commission would be amenable to if we could move further from the river?
You're 50 feet from the side as well. You can move over 20 feet there and reconfigure where your driveway and
room for
everything
construction around it and access. You know, I can't imagine. You know, John, I don't know what the fire department requires for access around a building for lawn. But there's a chance we may encroach into that zone. Is that something the commission, if we need to encroach in that, is that something the commission would allow us? We're trying to move forward, to move away from one, we could infringe on another. Is that something you'd be amenable to, or is that going to be a hard no and we need to push back if we hit that zone?
Well, I would say you shouldn't go into the 25-foot no disturb zone, but you ought to meet the zoning regulations to the max in terms of moving it forward to the road and over to the side.
The item that he's noting is to construct a foundation, you need at least 7 or 8 feet around the foundation. It'll be disturbed.
So that could be the size of the yard then. That's what it recommends. Yeah, 310 CMR 1058 4D3B.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that we can push it into that corner as much as we got the zoning, and staying about 7 feet off of that no disturb. Are those parameters good for you?
If you just move the whole thing.
I don't even see where the 25 no disturb is.
Right here.
So really,
it's this purple.
all I see is the 100-foot buffer in that area.
It's hard
right
to
here. Do you see can you see this, Miss Johnson? The little hand?
Yeah.
That's the 25-foot no touch zone. And here's the.
I'm looking at it. The house going closer to the up on that direction.
This way, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like Mr. Spink said, we'll look at the setbacks. We'll show the actual setbacks here and here, and we'll see what we can do to shift it in this direction. I was just inquiring.
I mean, this walkway doesn't have to be shaped like that.
We can take a look at that.
Yeah.
That can also be something that could be permeable pavers or something too. But
no, but if that's going to keep you from the 25-foot no disturb.
No, that won't. It's just the house and the work around it.
Right.
We could always make the driveway, the sidewalk work.
Since we're looking at shifting the design, I know Ms. Pierce had indicated she's not interested in the restoration area. The other commission members feel this way because we feel this would be a benefit to the area, but it's something
I would just like to get out there first to take a look.
Okay. That's reasonable.
And Judy, wear your boots and your chaps or whatever, because it's difficult.
My issue is restoring an area like that. It's already completely destroyed. You go in there, you clean out, you plant plants, and then unless somebody is monitoring that area for the rest of your days on Earth, you're going to have invasive species coming back in. So
Exactly.
your restoration plan is what, 2 years of monitoring?
Mhm.
Then what happens after that?
Well, there's a lot of invasives out there now. It'll be an improvement, and it'll be up to the owner if they want to monitor it beyond that.
Yeah, but what she's saying is they'd come back because you get the whole seed base and the stems and the roots and everything else, and it would be kind of for naught, probably, unless it was heavily
Well,
monitored.
Mr. Spink indicated the fill material and that debris goes down several feet. We'd be removing all of that. So if we're down at least 2 feet, there'll be no seed bank left. There'll be no root mass left. It's all gone. It'll all be removed. So we'll be bringing in native, natural soils that are weed and invasive, or should be, to come in here. So we'd be starting from scratch with a good base of soils. And the point of doing the monitoring, ideally, is, if you establish good vegetation control and have the management plan in place, you're not giving those invasives a chance to colonize. But you're right. With the invasives in this state and with the river there, if anything's coming downstream, there's always a risk, bird drop, wind blown, that it can get in there over time. But that can happen anywhere. So I would say take a look. If the commission feels it's not appropriate, we don't need to do it.
Yeah, I'd like to just go out there and walk around and see if it would be a benefit, with it in mind that it's surrounded by invasives. So it's, we'll see. So I have my doubts about how long it'll last, but I will take a look. So I guess I don't really have anything else.
Okay, Chris, a question. There's a lot of stakes out there with flags on them, but I could not read anything on the flags. What do most of them indicate? Is it the layout of the house, or?
No, the wetland lines.
No, these are stakes with.
Oh, the stakes, yes.
The ones up in the flat area are the corners of the houses.
Okay.
Oh.
Corners, yeah.
Right, we staked out, per your checklist, we staked out the corners of the house so the commission was clear where the footprint would be.
Okay, there was no indication where it was house corner or anything on there, so it was difficult to tell. All right, I'll take another look-see at it.
Yeah, they had flags on them, and they're not.
They're marked. They're marked. I saw them marked.
Oh, you saw?
Corner of the house.
Oh, okay, I missed. Okay.
On the stakes.
Oh, I was looking on the flags. Okay. All right, I'll read the stake next time.
So, couple of questions. Is the whole driveway going to pitch into South Street?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is the whole driveway going to drain towards South Street?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Is there any street drains on there, or?
Yeah, down further.
Yes, there are actually.
Okay.
And one of these has them on it.
Let's see. Is it the...
In fact, if you'll see the head of that wetland that sits right up there near the road, that's from a street drain. The reason that wetland's there is a street drain.
Okay.
Now, all the debris and junk and materials that you're going to take out of there, where do you intend to place them?
Sorry, say that again?
All the debris, all the soils that have all the junk and other things in there, where are you going to be disposing them?
John, do you have a place in mind for disposal?
It will go to a landfill and or a licensed
Okay.
receiver.
So are there still questions on the ownership of the lot, the smaller lot?
Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, the answer to that small lot is not a clear title path for that piece of the land.
So how do you donate it when you're not sure if you own it?
We're not donating it as an ownership. We're donating as all our interest that we would possibly have in it.
Oh, okay.
And the town has apparently some interest in it. It's the best way we can do anything to help you clear the title as much as you can.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't think past that you probably really need to do any more, but it's not worth going to land court to do. So
The other question I had is
Yeah, you muted. You're muted.
I don't understand the buffer zone that comes right to the river. Is that an error or?
That is an error. We'll fix that. Revise the plans.
Okay.
It should. I believe it should bank somewhere in here and come this way.
I could see.
Oh, it's a very straight line.
Yeah, it should offset from the.
No, it's an offset line of the 100 that got twisted and copied at 90 degrees.
Okay.
We'll clean up the 100-foot buffer here. I think it comes here and then banks it right here at the riverfront. I think it should turn here, right, John? I think it.
Yep.
Yeah, it should go right here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
The red one right there, yeah.
But it's not your imagination.
So this is the upland and the riverfront. This is the little pocket right here where we're outside.
Okay.
So if we want to take a site walk, it seems like a couple of us want to take a site walk. When can you provide the larger plans to Diana, since James is going to be on vacation?
I can do that in a couple of days at worst. If you want to do it this week.
Sooner the better. That way there, a couple of us and Judy, we can have a larger plan to work with.
John, why don't we look to try to get something done by the end of the week so we can get it to the commission? And that being said, is this something commission members will be going on independently, or will you be have a site walk? Or at least I'd like to be there.
James on vacation.
Yeah, Judy, you want to do it as a site walk with Mr. Lucas, or you want to do it on your own?
Well, I'd love to do it with people, but I'm trying to quarantine right now.
Okay.
Me too.
Unless we wait until next week to do the site walk. I mean, could we wait until next week?
First part of the week?
Yeah, that would be good.
Thanksgiving week.
Well, first part of the week.
First part.
Yeah. Rich, first part of the week work for you, or?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
All right.
Why don't we get the plans come in this week, and want to do it next Monday? I don't know I don't have my calendar, but Monday probably looks good.
Yeah, I'm open Monday.
Are you open, Mr. Lucas, or?
Yes, I can be.
Okay.
Let me go look.
I definitely cannot. I cannot.
You cannot. Okay. Jane, will you be available Monday?
A week from Monday, probably.
A week from today?
A week from today? I think so. Let me look.
That'll be good for me.
Okay. Set a time, not too early. I'm retired. I don't get up at 6.
Okay. I'm up for whatever, late morning Or, I'm retired too, so why doesn't somebody else pick the time?
10
I can
o'clock?
go anytime
10 o'clock,
on Monday.
okay?
I can make it too.
Okay.
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock,
Sounds good.
okay?
So we'll meet on site?
Yep.
Okay.
And the last, John, I haven't been out there very recently. The last I recall, I think you're gonna have to park along the road. I don't think there's anywhere to park on the site.
That's correct.
There's an area that's been like
There's room.
packed, paved area that there's a lot of space to park.
Yeah, right up by the corner.
Yeah,
On parcel.
yeah, there's a parking area right up by the corner there for the walk back to the fishing spot.
Oh, right.
But to get onto the site without absolutely killing yourself, you need to go down the neighbor's yard and into the side.
Yeah, I saw the boundary stake there. That was the second attempt to get in.
That's
was
how I
able-
went in. It was easy to get in right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of briars.
Yeah, where are your chaps?
That's how I came out. I did not go in that way.
Okay, so see you there at 10 o'clock next Monday.
Okay, great.
And so we'll continue this till our next meeting.
Well, the next meeting's the 30th, so that's the Monday after Thanksgiving. Or the meeting after that's December 14th.
Anybody have a conflict with the 30th? I'm not traveling for Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah, what
Our
Thanksgiving?
office closes Wednesday at noon, and we're out Thursday, Friday. So if Mr. Lucas would have
Friday
everything
too,
in
Oh,
Boom, all of a sudden everything just,
by next Tuesday,
right.
okay.
Well,
have it for that meeting.
I'll check my daughter's barn.
the commission's open to the 30th. Let's see if we can get everything the commission wants on the plan when we send in the full size for the end of the week. If we can do that, then hopefully we can have a discussion on the 30th.
Take care.
Is that okay? 30th?
Bye, bye all.
Fine with me.
It's fine with me. The 30th is fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion to continue?
I make a motion to continue South Street Parcel North, number 473, NOI DEP 157-01601. Motion to continue.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. Done. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
Monday.
Appreciate the time, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
I think it's more than time to do this violation,
What's that?
the enforcement and restoration.
17 Bragg Road. Are you for Bragg Road, sir? Yes. Okay. Yeah, you come on up. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Want to tell us what's going on at the present time?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Badawi Dweik, resident of Foxboro for almost 20 years and currently at 17 Bragg Road. I would like first to start my case by the opening statement, as I would like to thank all of you, the commissions, the team of Foxboro, for your dedicated work, in conserving and protecting and preserving, our ecological integrity of Foxboro wetland and the natural resources. I also would like to take this opportunity to support your work in the protection of our natural resources. I'm here to walk you through, give you background of what we have done, and to answer any question and see how I can help work it out. I would like to start with the background on the area in the question close to the water side, if you allow me, please.
Sure.
The area in the questions, which is, I'm referring to, which is close to our house in the water, has been historical, filled with a lot of debris for years. This is something before we even moved to the area, almost 3 years and a half ago. And those debris goes between too many materials, and I have some selective pictures. Couldn't even keep so many of those, but I have selection from broken glasses and bottles and old carpets and scrap metals and pipes and tubes, also construction materials in that area. And I always wonder where this is coming from, till I kind of, even recently when I met with the Bay Colony and they give me the history, and I figured out that house was the last in the area, was built on the place. And maybe it was used to be dumped for a little bit of more from people, from previous, builders. And also I noticed there was a campground next to it, and I think about this, and people used to do fishing, and so the area we had a safety concern with those materials, and the debris caused us to. We worked for many years to remove those manually, and I kept doing this over the last 3 years, and. Last year, my daughter, she got an injury. I have 10-year-old daughter. When she was walking on, this is a lot of grass. So we took what we can manually, and in another occasion where we have some work was being done in the house on the front, just with the bobcat, my son kind of, found an opportunity to find and take all of this debris out and remove those. So the intention was to, in his mind, to do good for the environment, to remove those environmental stuff I mentioned to you, and also I can mention, I have some pictures we can walk through. This is what the work which was being carried on the area to remove. It's meant to be removing all the trashy stuff which was built there, and in a good intention to maintain the area, clean it from those, and bring it to more of compliance. This was the intention. Maybe you have seen pictures with the bobcat. I can answer those. What happens, the bobcat went down on the road because we had a big fallen tree over the years and we couldn't remove it, and the intention was to take it off. But when the person went to take it out, he couldn't go up, and there was slab. So if you notice, there was no intention to do anything to the land, just he slipped down, and he was facing up, not down. This is what happened. So since we had the notice from Jane, I went with the order to install the erosion, silt, socks all over the land, 2 layers, to make sure this will be taken care. And also, I went to Bay Colony to understand more about the work, to be in compliance and putting things to be environmentally also acceptable. And to me, I had also Mrs. Jane. In fact, I thank you for this book. It was I spent in 1 hour reading it. It was very useful to me, also educational. So the bottom line here, we appreciate what you do, guys, and we are here to comply with whatever needed. And if there is anything happen, nothing other than to maintain the land, to clean it, and to bring it to whatever, the level of compliance. I had to walk with Jane on last Wednesday, and she had seen the work, and she also gave me some suggestions, and it was an educational moment for me and for my son. By the way, my son is sorry.
Okay, a quick question.
Sure, sir.
As you were using the Bobcat, where were you disposing of what you were digging up and trying to get rid of?
That's a good question. I will walk you through this. I have some pictures here. Actually, as I mentioned, I don't know, is this something you can see, or if I put it here?
If you put them a certain place, the
I think
gentleman...
he told me I can bring them here in the corner.
Yeah,
Is
look
that,
at that.
So if you notice, I picked some of those pictures. This is carpets. Still, by the way, this carpet's still there. And maybe Jane saw it. It's a big piece of carpet buried on depth. And this is another one where you can see it from the water. It's so close to the water. This is pictures of all bottles. We have bottles which is still liquids in them, and you can go, I don't know, 30, 40, 20 years, and maybe what we did, we removed the glass and we took it to the recycle of Foxboro.
Okay.
The others, we have some still barrels of debris. I still have those in the corner of property to remove them by a dumpster, and the logs, which is we moved into other part of the land just to open the way, because this was blocking the neighbors, and the tree was not in a secure place. So if you look to all what we did, these trash still in most of it, we get rid of it, but this is from what's left. We want to get rid of it, but I kept some of it just to show it. The glass, we removed most of it, except some of them still the last day, because we got a notice, keep what you have, so we kept it. So whatever we can get rid of, glasses and recycles, we have blue bins with Foxboro, we fill those, and we get rid of this. Because I'm a chemical engineer, I know how to deal with those environment, and our intention was to take it the most safe way to deal with it. Some carpets, we couldn't take it. So this picture here shows we couldn't take it, and this was too close, and we just left it. As of now, you can go and you see it. This is it.
Okay. Jane, I know you had conversations with the gentleman, so.
Yes, we
Can
talked.
can I say something?
Sure.
Yes, sure.
Okay, when I was out there, some of the material that was taken off the site was actually dumped by the side of your driveway. Your son had moved some stuff over to and disposed of it in an area beside the driveway.
This is a fallen tree. We have a big fallen tree. This was between us and the neighbor. It was, there for a couple of years. And this is where we move it to our land. This is our piece of the land, just to be naturally with that. I may have some pictures of that. Yes, you are correct. This is only big logs of a tree which was falling 2 years ago. If you allow me, I can bring you the pictures of the tree. This is when we have the storm, I think, in 2018. And it was a very, actually, we cut it, but we couldn't move it there because nobody can come and just, to the company, and that was the easiest way to do it.
Okay, I just didn't know if some of the material that was dumped in there was mixed up with other stuff. Because there was mention of barrels of,
We removed the barrels. As of today, I think maybe Jane, when she came, she saw some of the barrels on the side. And this is the barrels, which is, the metals, we moved them to the side. Some of them still there in the bags. The plastics in the bags. The glasses, we get rid of most of it. What's left is just a sample of 2 bags. This is what I took the picture. So whatever we can do to the trash, we did. We had to do the recycle, we did. And whatever left, still we're going to deal with it. So the metals, this barrel is still there as of today. As of today for us, because we would like to have a dumpster to come to deal with everything from the house.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Okay, back to you, Jane.
Well, I spoke to, we spoke together, you called me, we talked for about an hour.
Sure.
And as I like to state, a lot of our enforcement work is basically educating. Not knowing the laws is no excuse for breaking them, but it's all, you know, a lot of it is, it's education and informing people why a buffer zone is important, et cetera, et cetera. You know, part of the problem was that he actually went onto some land that's owned by Foxborough, a good-sized parcel in the town of Foxborough. So one of the first things he really needs to do is have his property surveyed,
Sure.
down by the water anyways. I mean, I was looking at the plan here, and you have a real, it's 35 feet at the waterfront, and then it looks like it scoots down to about 30 or 25 feet. And you got jiggy-juggies all over the place. It's you need to know where your property line is.
Yes, I think we know there was some confusion from the next neighbor, and we cleared it, and we're gonna have a company to pinpoint exactly where that was.
Yes.
Actually,
because that's going to be an important first step, well, second step. You already put in your fill.
We suffered from that because we feel, you know, we were not knowing our boundary, and it was being used by, you know, neighbors. But, you know, we have a good relation with neighbors. We will make sure everybody knows that.
Well, that's the other side that we're talking about. That's a neighbor problem. The side that we're talking about is the encroached, the part that was in.
Yes, you know, I agree. It was a very educational. I appreciate your input. It was, you know, really was very helpful to me to walk me through all of this. At least I know now what's invasive and not invasive, you know.
A little bit.
To a
There's still
degree.
more, but you know, you've looked
more.
online, I know, and you've looked at my book there, which I will want to be taking back, but you can order one as
Sure.
being a scientist. We talked about how
Sure,
you know, it's all based on science, the buffer zone importance. So as I explained to you, what we normally do is we have an enforcement policy where you do this, then you do this, then you do this. So first thing is the violation letter, and then going out and seeing the property, and then we usually issue an enforcement and restoration order, which is just a boilerplate, which I was looking at, and I'm not even thrilled with the way it was written, but just the same. Sometimes we'll add a state enforcement order to this. It's an actual state form, and I think your interest in complying, and you've been very agreeable to all this. So I think an enforcement order can be good enough for now. I mean, we don't really need to go super, I don't know, record against the deed or any of that stuff at this point. So basically, what I've done, and I've given everyone a copy of this, and I did leave off one important thing, and that is that we really need the survey done, but the survey can go onto a restoration plan. So basically, let me give you a copy of this so that you can see what the heck I'm talking about. There you go. And I'll take that back.
Thank you.
So, yeah, my little Bible here. So like I said, this is, let me get to my microphone. This is just a boilerplate document that basically tells you what it is the commission wants you to do. The goal is to reestablish a natural area in place of the disturbed buffer. You've come to this meeting. I put as a step number 1, on or before today, you shall review the their stabilization plan, which has already been installed. You put the silt socks along the edge as I when I went over there last week, and we talked about that. So that was great. And so before the next meeting, if you would nominate a qualified landscape restoration consultant, I have to get a list together. I don't have a list, but I'm sure if you're working with Mr. Buckley, he can recommend someone for you, because like I told you, he knows it all. He knows his stuff. So basically that person would help you make up a plan and review what needs to be done, and then it's listed on or before the meeting on the 14th of December. Hopefully you can get a draft restoration plan together, and then it lists all the information you need, except for the boundaries. I didn't put that on. You really need to put your surveyed, just the corners need to be surveyed, so we know where things are.
But what the town is doing is, why the town is not putting their pins on the land if they own it?
I have no idea about the history of the town-owned property there.
That's the confusion, you know, the land was left, all debris was dumped there, nobody taking care of it. I mean, you know.
It's not owned by the, well, a lot of the land that's owned by the town has, well, the conservation land is overseen by the Conservation Commission. This property was not protected as conservation land, so it comes under the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, I understand, I appreciate that, but my question is, this was a dumpster area, and we cleaned it. I thought we were doing good to the town.
Well, picking up trash is thankful. We thank you for that. But plowing it down, we don't thank you for that.
I mean, you know.
It appears though, between the town land, there's another parcel that's connected with the house up further that sticks out down in there when you look at the old Reservoir Estates plan. So he's not even next to the town land.
What? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
On the first page of this sheet that Diana made a copy for you.
Yeah.
The original plan from the subdivision shows, I don't know why they left that little piece out and gave it to the town. I have no idea. I wasn't involved back then. But, you know, they have this right of way, which you pointed out to me that anyone in town could go to. And I said, oh, no, they don't have a right of way. But they do. You're right.
I don't know. But, I mean.
Who knows what the reason was? I don't know if they were going to be putting electrical things there. I have no idea, honestly. And if you know, we always encourage people to pick trash up.
Because you see, this is 2016.
He's saying.
This is privately owned land that goes up to this house.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, but if you look to the land, with the land next to it, with the next neighbor, and to the landscaping now, just smoothly, you know, melt together. I mean.
On land that's not yours, though.
I mean, I didn't do anything to the land. This is my thing. But yeah, we'll do with this.
Basically, if the commission wants to issue this as it is, and then I did leave number 5, the date, empty, because I have no idea what's a reasonable date. Once, you know, it needs to get stabilized, because there was a bit of fill that went down into the reservoir, and a lot of that fill needs to be taken out by hand. Whether this is the best time to do it or not, I don't know. Perhaps putting down the hay that does not have any seeds in it, just kind of breaking it apart, like, what is it, salt marsh hay or something, Judy? Something to keep it from washing down the slope might be a first step. Any thoughts, guys? I put this together last thing tonight. I just used a regular form that we usually use.
Yeah, okay.
I thought there was going to be an erosion sock put in.
That was done.
He's already done that.
I think we put 2 layers of that, and we put more than, even our land goes to 35 feet. We put close to 150 feet. So 2 layers covered the whole thing.
He did a good job with that.
Okay, so that's done. What are you talking about? Putting straw, hay or straw down on the areas that are bare?
Something like that, I would think. Yeah.
You'd be better off.
But I would love it if you could work with Mr., with Bay Colony, because you've gone and spoken to them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
they really do know their stuff, and they can tell you how to get it stabilized. Because the last thing somebody wants to do who lives on a lakefront is to pollute their water with runoff. So,
We never intended and we'll never do that, you know.
no, I'm sure you would never intend to do that. And like I said, it's all about education. A lot of people just don't know. We're not just being ornery by saying a buffer zone is important. And like you said, you saw my little book here, Buffer Zone Science. So any comments about this? Judy, you didn't get a copy, and Rich, I'm sorry. I should have forwarded it to you, but I just did it last minute again, as usual. Seems to be doing that a lot lately. But it is just the boilerplate we've used in the past.
I mean, replanting and stabilization, it may take time, you know. I mean, isn't that by next summer or something? Because if you want to put plants or something, is that what you have in mind?
Whatever so if you get a specialist who understands what the seasonality of this is and when the right time to do things are, I would just, follow their recommendations or their plans.
Sure.
They're
Okay.
gonna have
So
a good
we
idea.
keep it till we talk to that. Okay.
Sure.
No problem. That will.
The key thing is that, so we just keep the soil from running, like when the winter, so if we get some snow and then it starts running off, all that loose soil is just going to go right into the
Sure,
reservoir.
yeah.
So we
I'll
just
do
want-
whatever I can.
Sure.
Manually, and maybe before that, and anything after that need to be done will.
I was just trying to think about what I have in my notice of the order of conditions that I usually put together as boilerplate language, and one of the things it says is if the site's not stabilized by November 1st, that you need to put some sort of, salt marsh hay layer on the whole thing, or use some sort of, tackifier. I'm not sure, Judy, do you know what might be used? You're usually good at this stuff.
No, the old, I mean, I was thinking maybe an erosion control mat or something made out of jute, something biodegradable, something like that. I don't know. I would see what the restoration specialist recommends.
Yeah, and if you could get someone as soon as possible, or have a name for us to approve. I can't imagine there's someone we would not necessarily want to approve. A lot of people don't know about native plants and restoring buffer zones with native plants, but like I said, Bill Buckley, Bay Colony will know.
But yeah, I mean, do you feel it's not stabilized now, the area?
It's not, no, because I was hoping that they had only just scraped the surface, but I think they got rid of a lot of the roots and such of the bushes that were growing there. If they had been left behind, they probably would grow, but not this time of year. So you got the whole winter and nasty rainstorms and things to wash your hillside down into the reservoir, and that's what we want to prevent.
Did your
If the vegetation and the leaf litter is gone, then you have exposed soils.
And there it is.
Last night, get anything into the reservoir?
I'm sorry, sir.
The heavy rain we had last night, did your barrier keep everything out of the reservoir?
I didn't see anything going, because these, even the socks, we put stabilizers and we put, sticks to hold them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything unusual,
Okay.
It was holding. The slope is not too deep, so usually, that area holds.
Okay.
Well, it's not a good situation to have over the winter. So if you could get somebody,
Yeah.
like yesterday. I mean, I know the commission, if you were to use Bay Colony, that would be somebody that they would approve.
Yeah, I'll talk to Bill and hire him. And, actually, he pointed to me that your website, and we went through those material which was mentioned there, the guidelines, and yeah, I will talk to him professionally. Whatever times allow, anything we can do now, we'll deal with it. If anything need further time, we'll keep you on the picture.
Well, like I said, down below it says, so number 2, before our next meeting, if you could nominate, give us the name of your consultant that has experience in restoring buffer zones and planting native plants, then they could help you out with your plan and all that sort of thing. So what should we put as far as once the RARP, what does that stand for? Restoration Area, Resource Area Restoration Plan. Have the work completed no later than what? Do you think like July 2021 or something? June?
I think you'd rather have it June because you want to get it in the ground with the good.
Oh,
rain.
yeah. So you need to get rolling and get people all lined up right away because I hear it's getting harder to get people these days.
Hopefully we get COVID out so we can deal.
Oh, yeah. So June 2021 is what I put in there. And like I said, this does not look terribly official. We're not having a million signatures or having you recorded against your deed because you are complying. It's just kind of trying to give you some guidance and some deadlines to follow.
So this is enforcement. It's not a violation, is it?
It's enforcing a violation, basically. It's restoring. Sometimes if it got to the point, they could ask you to file a notice of intent, an after the fact notice of intent for the work you did, but that's not going to really get us anywhere. We just want to make it as easy as possible, especially since you are so agreeable to restoring the area.
All right.
Anything else I can be to help?
I think that will do it. If you,
All right. So
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Appreciate your time and have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So this has the date in it. This is the buffer zone restoration guidelines, and you might want to give me that one back. That's
Oh, sorry.
I just was having you read that. Would you like to leave your pictures with us, please?
Yeah, you can have
That
those.
would be
Sure.
wonderful. Thank you very much.
So this is the same letter of you, oh, you just put
It's
the
the same
date,
thing, I
yeah.
just filled in the date, that's all. So we'll look forward to hearing from you before the next meeting.
Which is in June or?
No, our next meeting on the
Oh.
30th.
On the
Okay,
30th.
So on hiring the company, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, we'll take care of this.
Excellent.
And you mentioned Bakeron is acceptable to you.
If they're agreeable to doing it, yes, they would be definitely acceptable. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
At least that's my opinion.
And I want to say, okay, you got Stonehurst order of conditions or certificate of compliance, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I haven't gone out and done a site visit. I'm assuming it's okay. I think they probably have partials for everything. If you could sign it and maybe not, Greg's not going to mind if you wait a week,
Put it
right?
this way, do like Dave used to do. We'll sign it, and if you go out there and it's not acceptable, you rip it up in front of them.
Oh, he was terrible.
Effective.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of fun. I wished I thought of that sort of thing.
So do you have a signature page?
Yes. I'm assuming it's going to be complete, and there may be some continuing conditions that I need to put on there.
Yes, yes, yeah. Somebody make a motion to sign a certificate of compliance for 157270?
Did I give you my pen? My pen's disappeared. Oh, here it is. Never mind. I take that back.
Oh, jeez.
You wouldn't have a number on Green Street for this old one.
It's 157-270.
Yeah.
No, but I mean street number?
Excuse me?
A street number?
No, this is how they used to do things off Green Street. This is the Truax Lane and what else?
Okay.
Yeah, Moore Elizabeth.
No,
That was one
not
of them,
Moore
yeah.
Elizabeth. No, Moore
Foxen
Elizabeth is
and-
Oak Street.
It's
Truax Lane.
Foxen, I can't remember the
Cutler,
other streets.
I
that are
think
back there.
Cutler Lane is in there.
That sounds right, yeah. But that's how a lot of our old files read, and that's why we can't find anything, and we have to cross-reference them all over the place.
So the certificate is for the entire subdivision?
It is.
Okay.
So in theory, it should be just infrastructure, but back in the day, that was everything.
Right. Well, I move that we issue a certificate of compliance for Stonehurst subdivision off Green Street, DEP number 157-270.
Second.
Based on my site visit,
Okay.
or whatever.
Before we vote on it, are all of the fees all paid up and all of that?
Oh, I'm sure they are, yeah. Yes, Greg's been keeping it extended, and he paid the fee for the certificate of compliance, yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, he's good.
all right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? All right.
I can't
So you
sign.
two have some signatures to sign next couple of days.
So, quick question. So my name isn't on this. Is that because I wasn't here for the original?
No. Who's there instead? We must not have updated that form yet.
You're Bob, Judy, Eric.
Eric, that's what it is. We haven't updated it. Cross Eric out and put
Cross
your name in.
Eric out.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Diana, what time would be convenient for you tomorrow?
Anytime before 12:30 or after 1.
Before 12:30, okay?
Okay.
And then I'll probably, what I'll do is I'll call you and give you a time when I'm coming up, and then when I get to the parking lot, I'll call you again.
Okay.
Okay?
That deed has to be signed tomorrow for the selectmen's meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely you have to, because it's going to go right to the selectmen for them to vote on it and sign it.
Well, they don't, as long as it's signed before 4.
I'll come up in the morning, probably around, I'll say I'll leave here at 9.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll be here.
Okay, you have anything
So I
else,
have to be
Jane?
here about 9:15.
Okay. I think that's everything. Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Took you long enough. Discussion, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
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 Opposed? None? Thank you all.
All right.
All right,
Have a good Thanksgiving.
You
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thanksgiving's coming up.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
It's a different year.
It is.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye now.